And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today, mano a mano, 2-player. We're going to be battling against each other, whether we're using cannons, artillery, big marches of men, people with spears. Today we're looking at Battle Line. It's a 2-player card game that's been out for a little while now. It's actually designed by Ron Knizia. This one's published by GMT Games. 2-player game, tactical. Let's take a look how it's played. I'll show you on the other side. I'll show you now, and I'll see you on the other side. In Battle Line, it's sort of capture the flag. There's 9 different flags here, and what you're trying to do is either capture 3 adjacent flags from each other, or any 5 flags. The first person to do that's to win. Let's show you how it's played. In the game, there's 60 different cards. They all range from 1 to 10, and there's 6 different colors. And as you can see, the ones of the same type number are heavy cavalry, but we have 2 different colors. So it's 1 through 10, 6 different colors. And what you're trying to do is create some sort of sets on your side of a specific flag. And on your turn, essentially, you're playing a card and then picking up one from one of the 2 different decks. Now here's a player aid that I printed out from the Board Game Geek website for this game. Shows you the different types of sets or formations, as they call them, that you're trying to do. The best one is called a wedge, and it's basically the same color, all consecutive values, 3, 4, 5, or anything like that in the same value. They don't have to be in order either that you play them, they just have to be there. The next one, phalanx, is same value, so 3/8, 3/6, things like that. Battalion order, same color, could be any values, but 3 of the same color. Skirmish line, consecutive values, and it doesn't care what color, and any other formation, so that's how they are ranked. So with my cards here, I can see that, hey, a wedge, same color, consecutive values is the highest one. I have a 3 and 4 of orange there. I may or may not want to play them right away, but this could be a very powerful one, so maybe I do play a 3. So essentially I'll pick a flag, I'll play the 3, and then I'll pick up a card. Now there's 2 types of decks, Troop and Tactics. Troops are the normal cards that you've been seeing. Tactics are special ability cards that can be used. They're usually one-time abilities. Let's take a look at some of these. And again, you're picking up either a Troop card or a Tactic card, one or the other. And they do certain things like Fog, for example. This card disables all formations and the flag is merely decided on the total value on the side of each card. Pretty cool. Play this card like any Troop card of value 8, but define its color when it's resolved. So it's always an 8, you get to pick the color. Traitor, choose any one Troop card from the opponent's side next to an unclaimed flag and place it on an empty slot on your side. And then there's 2 leaders. Let's see, play this card like any Troop card, but define its color and its value. It's essentially completely wild, but each player can only play one of these leader cards. Also, when you play these cards, you can only play this if you have if you have one more than the other player. For example, you can't play any more of these. If I've played one card on my side and my opponent has played none, I cannot play another one until he plays one. So essentially, you can only have one more of these tactic cards on your side than the other player. So you can't just lay a bunch of them down. So you can only have one more than your opponent, and you can grab one of those instead of a Troop card. So let's see how some of these might resolve. This player's already played 3 here on this flag. He's got 3 of a kind, which essentially is the second highest one, the phalanx. And I have going for 3 of a kind as well. And I had that special companion cavalry, and I placed this down, and now this is stopped because 3 cards are on each side, and we both have the same type of formation, 3 basically the same value, but this one's higher, so this would go here, and I would have, this person, it goes on this side of the card, and they would have won that flag. Now most of the time it's resolved when there's 3 cards on each side. Sometimes it can resolve earlier than that. For example, this guy's playing 7, 8 of the same color, I'm playing 3, 4 of the same color. Now, I see a 6 and a 9 here. We're both going for this, the best, the wedge, which is consecutive in the same color. And he's got 2 and I've got 2. The 6 and the 9 are here, which means that the 6 can't be in this consecutive run, and the 9 can't be in that consecutive run. If on my turn I then played this, even though there's not a 3rd card here, with the cards that are out on the board, I can prove that he can't beat this, and then I would automatically be able to win it, even though it's not theoretically completed. So that's pretty much how the game plays. Each player plays 1 card and then picks up a troop or a tactic card, and then you're trying to finish these battles. Anybody that gets 3 consecutive flags, or any 5 first, is the winner. All right, well, there's Battle Line. If you like 2-player games, this is one you're going to want to look at. I liked it. It's a solid game. It actually has more thinking than you would expect. It's one of those games where it's super easy to teach, but it takes maybe a long time to master. As the game goes on, it evolves. There's a lot of thinking. There's more thinking to it than it appears at the beginning, because there's so many choices, especially towards the end, as to which cards to hold, which cards to play. And I know he wants to play this card here in my hand to complete something on his side of the board, but I don't necessarily want to play it yet. I want to keep him hanging, thinking it's still in that deck there. Or then you play it, and then it's like, okay, I have a card that I can play, which will prove that he can't, complete one of those other ones, and I'll get my flag, but that will hurt me in another area. And there tends to be a lot of things to think about once the board starts getting filled up. A lot more than I would have thought from just these simple rules and simple formations. The tactical cards are cool. I like the balancing act where you can't play more than one more than the other player. That way it keeps it there. Overall, it's a good, solid game. I'm not sure why it's in the top 100 games of all time on Board Game Geek. It's a good game. It's a solid game. It didn't blow my socks off, but it is a solid filler. It's probably not my favorite two-player filler game, but it is solid. It's a good game, and it's relatively inexpensive. So if you have two players often and you're looking for a two-player game, this one, it's probably, even though it's simple, it's probably too heavy for me to play with my wife, so it probably won't come out as much as possible, as much as I would like. Solid game. Not bad, not extremely great, probably on the good to pretty good, very good. And it's pretty quick, but there's a lot of thinking there. It's one of those ones that you can really dig deep, and if you play it multiple times, it'll probably get better with a lot of different layers. And that's Battleline, two-player card game.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.